What up, YouTube? This is Steven, and welcome back to another video. In this video, I want to talk about Rachel Dolezal, aka the fake black lady. You may remember she made news because she was impersonating a black woman, specifically a mixed race woman who identifies as black. And she wound up becoming the president of a chapter of the NAACP. All right, so y'all remember that story, right? That story wound up making like national headlines, right? All right, so fast forward to now. Apparently, Rachel Dolezal is living on food stamps, and she's apparently about to be homeless, like pretty soon. Apparently, for some reason, I guess she's no longer able to make money being a fake black lady. But yeah, and I'm like, well, okay. Who do they expect to bail her out of this situation? I personally, I expect white people to bail her out of this situation. Or at least her family. Like, where her parents at? Ain't her parents? I guess her parents don't want to have anything to do with her. And there's a whole nother story within that itself that will could probably turn into a whole nother video about why her parents don't want nothing to do with her. But her parents, don't she got a baby daddy? Or a couple of baby daddies, I think. I hope they don't expect the black folks to be starting like a GoFundMe for Rachel Dolezal now. I hope they don't. I hope no one is holding their breath, for black people to galvanize and come together to save this, masquerading white woman. I guess she's a white woman who masqueraded as a black woman. All right. So yeah, I hope they don't expect us to save this masquerader, all right? Because that's not gonna happen. I really don't think so. Granted, there are some black folks who always be falling for the okie doke, but by and large, I don't think so. And I don't think really she deserves it. Honestly, I mean, let me break it down for you. All right. First of all, she shouldn't have been deceitful and lied about her racial identity. Like, she should not have done that, because a lot of times all that black people have oftentimes is their racial identity, and she as a white person stole that. Like, again, yet another situation of white people taking something from black people. Again, granted, this is not on a large scale, but still. All right. So once she gets found out, I don't remember hearing any apologies about Rachel. Well, any apologies from Rachel directed towards the black community. Like, she never said, like, you know what, let me address the black community. Like, none of that happened during any of the interviews that she was given when she became the topic of the week or the topic of the month. When she got her 15 minutes of fame doing these interviews and whatnot, she never once, I don't think, I could be wrong. If I am, let me know, leave a link to a video and I'll watch it and I'll be like, I'm wrong. All right. But I don't think I've ever heard her say, like, you know what, I want to address the black community for a moment. And I really want to sincerely apologize, because what I did was wrong. What I did was, very hurtful. It took opportunities away from, black people, especially black women, who, already have, limited opportunities as it is, because she never said anything like that. She never really even addressed the black community at all. So, and that was one thing during that whole situation that I was kind of like expecting her to do at one point or another, to address the black community and to apologize. And really, I think Matt Lauer was kind of trying to set it up so that she would kind of like lead into her saying like she regretted something at least. But she was like, no, I don't have any regrets. I just stole, black people's identities. I lied about having, my natural hair experience. She's telling folks about her natural hair experience. Like, really? Yeah, like she's like her struggle with her natural. But really, that is, I know I'm laughing, but really, that is like a real thing amongst black people, especially black women, about like, accepting your natural hair texture, you know, I mean, even like to keep it really, even I went through something like that, like with my natural hair texture. Like there was, like in the past when I was a kid, I didn't really like my hair texture. Actually, I was like every time like I get a haircut, like people would always give me compliments about the way I look. Usually, but when I had like um, my hair in like an afro, grown out, like I didn't really get compliments like that. And as well, um, you know, not only the media, um, the media's influence definitely played a part in that, but also, I have family members who have certain hair textures that, are more so on like maybe like the very like loose curly side or even straight, that possibly played a role in it too. But I will say like I am at a point now when at one point I just embraced my, I was kind of, it kind of came about by accident though. But yeah, I embraced my, you know, natural hair texture, and I wound up letting my hair grow out at one point for like just about 2 years, I think. you know, and you can kind of see it on the videos that I've done. Like if you see like the clip, like the thumbnails, if you go through my videos and see the thumbnails, you'll see kind of like my hair, journey through those thumbnail clips. But to bring it back to Rachel Dolezal, like, yeah, she was giving those um, talks, and I'm like, well, that just that alone is kind of like is like really offensive because it's like, well, how could you say that you giving these talks about your natural hair and saying like, oh, embracing your natural hair and like your struggles with your natural hair and all that when you don't have those struggles. And she couldn't apologize about that or anything else, and I just think that's just really messed up. Thankfully, I don't think anyone in the black community claiming Rachel Dolezal anytime soon. I know I'm not. And as well, also notice like it's a little low key, but you notice that she kind of used, you know, biracialness or being light skinned to enter the black community, which also kind of like makes it tougher for people who are perhaps lighter skin or even white passing, because it's now like, oh, we gotta be strict on the rules about who's black and who's not because we don't want another Rachel Dolezal to happen, you know. And also she used, like, she didn't, when she became a black woman, she didn't use like a dark skinned black woman. She used a light skinned black woman. And I think that was strategic too. Some people will say, well, it was easier to be a lighter skinned black woman for her, you know, and that is an argument, definitely, but I guess that's a part of it too. It is easier to be a lighter skinned person, you know? So she kind of did, so she was like, at the same time, she was offending folks like in all different directions. And what else I can say about this? I don't. I feel like, where's her family at? Where they gonna help her out? Where is her husband or baby daddy at? When they gonna help her out? Apparently, the government is helping her out. What about white people? I guess they don't want to have anything to do with her. Maybe because she has too many, like, connections to black folk. Because she got a few black kids, and she got some black husbands, and as well, they don't want to deal with her because they don't want to feel like they are like supporting what she did. Um, but hopefully, I don't see any black folks, caping for Rachel Dolezal. I think she'll be okay. She's gonna be okay either way it go. So just let Rachel Dolezal find her own way. You know. I mean, I don't want to see. I don't. Like I don't want to be wishing anything bad on her. Like really try not to wish bad things on people. But I think this may be a part of possibly what she deserves, at least from like a spiritual perspective. And some people were saying like, oh, she wanted to know about the black experience, so here it is. She wanted to be black so bad. Here it is. And yeah, unfortunately, kind of like struggle is associated with being black for some reason. Because I think that's a part of it too. Like, if you think about it, when it comes to like, I guess maybe like lighter skin versus darker skin people, and it claims to blackness, and some people may be feeling like, well, you don't really have a claim to blackness, or you can't really claim it because you don't go through the same struggle as we do. Particularly like maybe a darker skinned person referring to a lighter skinned person. And oftentimes we do approach blackness through like struggle, through like a negative place. I don't know why. I guess maybe because we feel like that's when it really counts. When it's negative, it really does count. And I think that is true. When it's negative, it really does count. When you're experiencing police brutality, it really does count. It will let you know who is down for you, who's really black and down for you, and who is not black and who is not down for you, right? When the going gets tough. um, Yeah, I guess what else I want to say about her? Oh yeah, she did an interview on the Real. Remember y'all that talk show, the Real? Yeah, she did that a while ago though. I guess they dug her up because she was been out of the news when they dug her up and brought her on her show. Even then, she was like babbling like at times. Like oftentimes she didn't want to answer the questions like straight up. Like it'd be like a yes or no question, and she going like all around the world answering this question. Like, oh, did you identify? Like they asked her like, did she check what box did she check when she applied to Howard University? And she's going all around the world answering this question. And then Tamar, I think Tamar was, she keeping it real. Like she's like, which box you checked? And like basically, like it's not that complicated of a question because she are going around trying. Well, blackness is defined as not just a state of, like, not just the color, but a state of mind and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, really? Apparently, if slaves just changed their mind state, they wouldn't have been slaves, right? It's just because blackness is just a state of mind, right? But yeah. Rachel Dolezal, you know, it's really weird. I think there have been a few cases of when I guess white people imitating black people or assuming a black identity. I think there was like a case back in like I guess the 50s or 40s or something where like this Greek guy imitated a black man or passed as a black man to I guess quote unquote do black music. I think. And it's like another case that I can't think of at the moment. But another point, interesting point that was brought up during this whole situation, I guess I'm just revisiting Rachel Dolezal. I never made a video about this. I guess at the time I wasn't motivated to. But another point that I want to bring up is, suppose if Rachel Dolezal had been a white man instead of a white woman, and she stole a black guy's, or a black man's racial identity. How do you think that would have went? Because I noticed, like, there were some black men defending Rachel Dolezal. But do you think they would have been defending her if she was a white man doing this? And some people were speculating that they were defending her because, they don't want to see this white woman get dragged. You know how oftentimes, white women are viewed as, being, very delicate and fragile and, very worthy of, protection, versus if she was a black woman, people wouldn't be giving her, that protection nearly as much. But yeah, if this had been a white man, we might be still talking about this. This might still be a topic, actually, if this was a white man, stealing a black man's racial identity. But how would it have went? Would he have assumed a light-skinned man's identity, or would he have assumed a dark-skinned man's identity? I don't know. But yeah, I guess basically the point of this video is to revisit the Rachel Dolezal situation, give my speak my piece about it, and also just say that Rachel Dolezal, I just don't think that she deserves help from the black community for the simple fact that she never really apologized to black people, because what she did offended black people, a lot of black people, like, she never once said, hey, let me address the black community. In none of her interviews, like I said before, none of the interviews, she never, stopped to address the black community, which also, it seems like it's such a disconnect between her and black people. It's strange, because it seems like she wants to be considered black, but also it just seems like it's such a disconnect between her and black people. It seems like she don't really feel black people like that, I mean, me personally, I feel like Rachel, apparently she was doing some work for the NAACP and on behalf of black people, and I'm like, if you're so down for black people, then shouldn't you be able to apologize to black people if you offended them? Because it's like, for me, for instance, if I'm down for black people, right? But if I did something to offend some black people, I would at least be like, oh wait, let's address this. Like, hey, let's see what this is about, and admit my fault if I am at fault. In Rachel's case, she is definitely at fault. So it seems like a decent human being would say, since they're so down, and really devoted to this particular community, and they have offended people in this particular community, in this case, black people, like, hey, I sincerely apologize. I didn't mean to offend anybody. I didn't mean to steal from a group of people who have been stolen from so much. That wasn't my intent, My intent was just to sort of, find a way to embrace blackness, Like, she ain't say none of that. It just seemed like she was just like, I'm white and I'm right and I'm entitled, I'm gonna get me some blackness, Got black husband, black kids. You got like a degree in African American studies or Africana studies or something like that. Yeah. Yeah, and her giving talks about her experience with natural hair, that really is offensive though, because like, we as black people, that we go through things when it comes to our hair texture, especially like black women. So that really was something that was offensive for her to do. She didn't even apologize about that, because I'm thinking about my own struggles with embracing my hair texture and things like that. And I'm like, really? You ain't have to go through what I had to go through. You know, you ain't had to go through what that black woman, had to go through, as far as finding finding a way to embrace her hair texture, and feeling like, oh, if she stops perming her hair, what will happen? Like, will she be considered attractive anymore? What about if she stops wearing weave? She didn't have to go through none of that. You know, and like, I know I didn't have to go through that aspect as far as like perms and weaves and things like that. I know that, but still, I just feel like, it's sort of, well, not sort of, but it's just really offensive. And there's one more thing I want to bring up before I go. When this all happened, initially, when news first broke, I remember Googling Rachel Dolezal, or at least searching for her on YouTube, rather. I searched for her on YouTube, and I ran across a video of hers that I found really interesting. It was about American currency, like our dollars and our coins that we use, and how the majority of them have, if not all of them, pretty much, just about, have images of white men on the money. And Rachel had said that, this is sort of like possibly like a subtle reminder of who is in charge of this country. Every time you spend your money, you're in charge. Like, you're seeing who is in charge of this, white men on this money, right? And on the video, I'm like, this is a really interesting video. I never really thought about, that, in, currency in that sort of a way, and thought about that whole situation like that, right? But in the comment section, people were just going in on her, talking about, basically, she a fake black lady, she a thief, she a fraud, she, she stole from black people, all these negative things. And I'm like, well, the thing is, if you had not did that, it seemed like this whole situation is taken away from, like, what you could have been actually accomplishing. Like, it took away from, that aspect of because she really brought up something really interesting in that video, and I think she probably had more other interesting things to bring up. But the thing is, people are so distracted by you being a thief and being a fraud and being a cultural appropriator and all this and that and the third, that we ain't paying attention to this video, though. By and large, people ain't paying attention to this video, and it's some interesting information in that video. But I guess the ultimate message that I'm trying to bring across is, like, when she did that, it took away the conversation. The conversation was on, like, racial issues that black people go through. But then when she did this and stole the identity of black women in particular, then and got caught, the conversation turned to her. So it kind of like, it sort of like, she sort of just became a distraction from the real issues, and real issues that she could have contributed to in a positive way if she had just been straight up and just been white, because she could have done everything while just being white. She could have just been, she could have still married a black man, still could have had, biracial kids. She still could have pursued African American or Africana studies. She still could have worked for the NAACP. She still could have advocated on behalf of black people if she did that. And, well, she probably would have had a better chance or been in a better position to be an advocate for black people as a white person. She could have been an actual, white ally. She could have, but no, she didn't want to do that. She didn't want to be an actual white ally and work on behalf of black people for their good. She wanted to be a cultural appropriator of black people, of black culture. So, yeah. But, I think Rachel will be all right. You know, I don't see her, you know, going without for too long. You know, she's gonna be okay. You know, but you know, she got to pay for what she did. You know, at least from the cosmic spiritual aspect, right? But I guess I've said all I have to say. Thanks a lot for watching, you guys. Feel free to comment. Feel free to subscribe. Feel free to give me a thumbs up. Feedback and support are extremely appreciated and extremely valued. Until the next video, adios, goodbye for now.